Markovich. I've been an online consultant for close to 7 years. I've worked with startups, I've built startups, I've helped companies in the Fortune 1000 space, and I've also helped like buy cheap dry cleaning net. So really successful. So that's a little bit of my background. I know a little bit about everything in the industry. So I hope I could grasp a lot of what the other panelists are saying. Elon, you want to take it away?
Sure. My name is Elon. I'm the founder of Tactical, which is a growth marketing and performance marketing agency here in New York, down in Soho. I've been consulting for about 5 years as well. I've worked with clients ranging from Chase and Hugo Boss. Done a lot of startup launches, including companies that you may have heard of, Artsy, which was a popular art startup. Their app was just featured in the keynote in Apple, which we were really excited about. Splash, the event planning company. Meerkat, the video streaming company, Ideally as well. So we've specialized in the kind of marketing that generates numbers, performance numbers, ROI, sales, percentages, stuff like that, stuff you can prove on paper. That's SEO, it's SEM, it's email marketing, lead nurturing, content marketing, stuff like that.
I'm Menachem. I'm the founder of a company, JXT Group. We're a small boutique online advertising agency. We manage online marketing campaigns for e-commerce retailers as well as service providers. We're based out in Jersey, and we've been in business since about 2009. We've seen a lot of growth in managing people's campaigns online.
Me?
Take it away, Jonathan.
John Eisenberg. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Spark Hospitality Group. I founded the company 7 years ago to advise hospitality companies on raising capital, deal structure, and investor relations. Most recently, as the hospitality industry has changed from you must have a review in New York Times to your online presence and your technology that you use, we have started to advise our clients on what technology to use, how to use SEO. Up until recently, none of the business plans I've ever seen for food and beverage have had a line item for website, nor SEO, nor technology. It was basically open the restaurant, put in a POS system, maybe use OpenTable, and I think now is the time that restaurateurs are realizing that they need to get up to speed with the technology and the web like other categories like retail have done. So we're spending a lot of our time on that.
Sounds good. Since you ended off, I'm going to ask you first. You worked with a lot of clubs, restaurants here in the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some really exclusive ones.
Yep.
Like what, 1 out of 100 people get in?
Yep.
How would you get into a club like that? This is totally unrelated, but I've been struggling.
You're hopeless. So it's actually funny. It's not only a question that a lot of people ask me, but there have been a lot of websites and now apps that are trying to solve that problem. And at the end of the day, if you want to get into one of the exclusive clubs, there are a few things. One, don't give attitude at the door. Two, wait when the door guy or the bouncer says you're going to wait. Three, dress appropriately. And ironically, nightclubs want almost an even ratio. So don't think you're going to come with one guy and 6 girls and get in. That's actually not good, because they want about a 50-50 ratio in the club. Otherwise, if there's too many girls or too many guys, the club doesn't last as long because there's not interaction. And ironically, top door guys in Manhattan, guess how much you think they make a year? Anyone?
Go, take a guess. You take a guess.
Like a door guy that works at Provocateur.
Take a guess.
Provocateur.
Yeah, you take a guess.
Oh, 50K.
200K?
What?
Including the tips they get in their hands.
So they make money by every night, they get a salary. They also get a cut of all bottle sales, and they get tips in their hand.
Yeah, I would give them 100 grand probably.
Okay, 200 million.
200 million? Not that much.
We're in the wrong business, man.
Yeah,
$400,000.
you lost that showcase.
No, you. And you work $400,000 and you work 4 nights a week. From basically 10 to 2.
Let me ask you, what are some things that those doormen could do that would get them fired? Because I feel like there's a lot of room where you're like, wait, is this allowed? Is this not allowed?
So I opened 10 June, which is below the first SDK, which is another big client of mine. So the one group that owns the SDK brand that just went public is one of my biggest clients. We've raised capital for the SDK in Midtown. We brought SDK to Atlanta, DC, and and we had a doorman at 10 June actually smack a girl, and we had to let him go.
Yeah.
So you're saying the reason why I can't get to this club is because I always come with 7 girls?
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing
And
that.
by the way, we want our door guys to give attitude because we want it to be exclusive, right? The more exclusive, the more people come. But obviously, there's a line you gotta cross, and that was the line he crossed, and he was immediately out. But some of the best door guys in the city have the biggest attitudes ever, and we pay for that.
That's amazing to know. In regards to marketing, Elon, how would you define influencer marketing?
It's a really good question. So, influencer marketing is one of those like jargon terms that get thrown around a lot, and it just could mean like anything. So, to me, and guys in the nightlife industry can understand this. I mean, well, how does a club fill up its room, right? They use promoters. They use people who have a social circle that allows them to just bring these people in. And so, to me, influencer marketing can be anything that you do where someone else has your audience, right? You're trying to reach a certain kind of person, whatever that is. It's a certain kind of job description, it's a certain demographic, it's a certain mode or whatever they are, mindset, affinity group, whatever it is. Someone's already got this audience. Someone's already got them. If it's a Facebook, if it's an Instagram influencer or a Facebook guy, another company, an event company, a club, it doesn't matter. But someone's got your audience and they already have them in their hands. When you utilize and leverage them and say, listen, we're gonna make a deal. I either pay you outright or I cut you in or we share in this somehow, give me a piece of that action, you're gonna see that audience come to you. Because if you belong in that circle, then that influence will come to you. Uber did this a lot in the early days. A ton, yeah, you're nodding your head because he knows Uber. It was like they would partner with anyone who had a cool brand. If it was Blade, the helicopter company, or a guy I know who like had like a custom clothing line. It didn't matter. They were like, you have a cool brand, cool people, you're in. Let's go. The partnership. And
Wait, but what did that partnership consist of?
it could have been anything. It could have been they give a special Uber coupon just for that guy.
Yeah. So
Right.
when Uber started, not to interrupt, as you said, they basically would partner with anyone, and they would throw the spaghetti on the wall. And if you were hosting an event like this, they would say, great, we're going to give all of your attendees a coupon code for $25 off a ride to the event. It's good for that night, right? Just for that night. And based on the redemption of that code, if it was a high redemption, they'd go back to you and say, you've got a great following. What more can we do? If it was a low redemption, they said, we'll move on. But I mean, literally anyone could call the office when they were like 4 people in New York and be like, I need a code. And they'd be like, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to add on to that, they still do a lot of that. They partner with a lot of event places. If you go to like a concert,
They still do it, yeah.
especially places where people are drinking, they try to offer you a free ride, take Uber home. This way they get you hooked on.
So do you think Get's model is very similar? Are you guys familiar with a $10 ride? And if any of you guys running in the taxi in New York City and thinking about taking Uber, I have nothing against them. But if you do get a Get taxi, it's $10 anywhere in the city.
I think Get and some of these other competitors are trying to compete on price.
Yeah.
I think that Uber has cornered the market on what is cool in this place, which is weird because you wouldn't think of it as being cool, but it sort of is. Like you get a black car to come pick you up rather than a yellow taxi. You don't have to wait it down, it comes to pick you up. They picked up on that. And if you go to Uber's website, there's this whole, like, there's models getting out of like really beautiful cars. And it's so not what real Uber is like. In real life, like, you're struggling with your bag. And, hold on, send it on me.
Oh, my Ubers are like that.
And that's why you can't get in the club. This
That's
girl's leaving.
I'm stumbling out of Ubers into the club, and the guy 10 June is like,
Okay, so that's how the girl got flagged. So how do you identify an influencer? Let's say you pick up a brand. Who here has a brand that they would like to engage with an influencer?
Hot sauce.
hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Go.
I already do that.
You're a smart man.
I'm sponsoring the New Jersey Taco
I
Festival
was gonna say, hot dog festival.
and also the New York Hot Sauce Expo
Right.
in Greenpoint. And we went down to Texas.
Wait, Aaron, I don't want to cut you off. I'm very curious on Elon and Menachem's response. How he would, let's say he contacted you,
Yeah.
and he said, "I want to find an influencer." How would you go about that?
I would actually take it further. I would go, not just like, let's say you have like these hot dog eating contests. These individual contestants have followers, right? You can go, and you probably know this already, but you can go after those guys independently as well. sometimes it's just grunt work. Sometimes it's just follow a hashtag on Instagram and look who's got a lot of people. You know, there's a I forget what it is. It's a pizza Instagram account that's very popular, and fuck it, why not? Put hot dogs on pizza. That's delicious.
Also
And
groups,
Yeah,
very strong
there's-
because it's exactly your target audience.
So Jonathan, he finds the influencer, let's say.
Yeah.
Everyone, hundreds of people are sending him emails, tweets, Facebook emails. How would you recommend for him to get, like, hey, this is my hot sauce, let's talk. What would you recommend?
So it's interesting, we run the influencer dinner series for reserve.com, which is basically Uber for table reservations. The first few we did failed miserably. We had people with huge social media followings, but we didn't give them direction on what they should post, what they should say, how they should engage with their following. So there's a Twitter out there, the guy's called New York Doorman, good friend of mine, Mike. He tweets about everything in New York, fashion, whatever. He's got 50,000 followers. When he tweeted, there were 19,000 impressions. There were 250 people that engaged with his tweet. Only 8 people signed up. Miserable failure.
Wait, Jonathan, I promise you I want to go back to this point.
Yeah.
My initial point was, let's say you found this guy.
Yeah.
What would be how would he get the initial reaction?
So, to that, you have to incentivize that influencer to then really influence his following. Not just tweet about it, not just Instagram about it, but talk about it, and not in a salesy way, but in as a like, oh my God, I stumbled across this great hot sauce. It's perfect for XYZ. You know, you can only pick it up here, or you can only buy it online. People don't want to be sold on social media. They want to think like their friend is saying, oh my God, check out this club. You know, I was there last night, I met the hottest girl. Or, you know, I found the best pizza in Brooklyn. You gotta go. If it seems salesy to them, they will just ignore it and it won't get engagement. And also what you want is you want that influencer to influence their influencers. It's kind of like one of these like, you know, those charts where it's circles and lines and circles and lines. If that doesn't happen, it will just end and it won't go anywhere.
So something I found, and this is a trick I used to do when the Facebook first came out, and I saw Facebook influencers getting big, and this was before pages, it was just friends.
yeah.
So something that I do, and I still do it a little bit, but going directly to the influencer, they're like bees in honey, you know? They don't swat anything. So what I would do is I would friend request a lot of their friends that I see engagement with. Like I see people constantly liking their posts, obviously they're friends with them, I would add them, and then send a friend request and a message to the guy, and they're like, wait, he knows a lot of my people.
Sometimes it also takes multiple channels. Like if I try to get press for a client, I'll email the reporter and then he'll ignore it. So I'll tweet at him and he'll ignore that. And I'll Facebook him. You know, what do you get to lose? So influencers, it's a business for them just like anyone else. You just have to have the better offer. They have to believe that this one will work. And you know, sometimes it's just a numbers game.
And influencing marketing is for sure worth it. You guys own it.
If done properly. And I think back to my point, just tweeting or Instagramming about it doesn't work. You have to engage and incentivize the influencer, and then you have to make sure they're engaging their audience in a way that actually gets them excited and gets them talking about it and buying the product, because otherwise everyone just look at it and pass it over.
Right, it should have some kind of call to action, but without actually being salesy, like you said. You
Yeah.
wanna make it sound exciting and something they'll jump on.
It comes down to the numbers. I've seen so many clients, they're like, well, our Facebook campaign's going great. And then I look at the analytics, I'm like, really great? 0.01% conversion is great to you? And they're like, wait, what?
But you have 20,000 followers.
Yeah, they don't know. Like people let vanity metrics get the better of them. They're like, oh, look at all the followers I have. So, you know how many followers I can buy for $5 on Fiverr.com? Doesn't matter. It's about the engagement, about how many sales you make. The guy who has 800 Instagram followers might be doing better business on Instagram than the guy with 50,000.
Absolutely.
It's like those small shops in the Diamond District. There's like a hole in the wall.
Those guys make billions of dollars.
Yeah, the
Billions
guy's
of dollars.
like
It's
I
insane.
met this guy who's doing all the jewelry for DMX. His office was like the size of this, and right across the street there was empty, and I couldn't believe how much business.
It's also
was going.
$75 a square foot there for office space. So it's like,
And I think you also have to be careful on the influencer you pick, right? That influencer has to pair up with the product and be able to have a following that goes with that, you know? And if it's a high-end thing, maybe you don't need an influencer that has 50,000 followers, they only have 1,000. But if it's multi-million-dollar condos and all their followers or their influencers are billionaires, you're good.
You're good. I have a question. So we spoke about Uber a little bit, and this is a question that's been in my mind. raise your hand if you're familiar with Uber Eats. Nobody? He's nodding like, it's not even like his hand's up, he's just like, you could just stay still, I would have believed you. So, I'm not gonna do justice describing Uber Eats, but Jonathan, take away.
So Uber Eats is an interesting concept. Basically, Uber right now is trying to commoditize their amazing technology and infrastructure in anything. You know, they've got Uber Rush, which is delivery. Uber Eats is basically, they send out a menu in the morning, and it's got a ramen burger, it's got this from Sweetwater, it's got this. You place the order, and they use their network to deliver it on the time that you set. And that's basically Uber Eats.
So what do you think, all three of you, Seamless Grubhub versus Uber Eats? Because this is a big, the Seamless and the Grubhub market.
I think they're very different.
They're different.
They're very
Well,
different.
why do you think they're different?
I think they're going after different desires, right? If I order off Seamless, it's because I know I want something from a restaurant and I want a particular thing, and I'm gonna go on the restaurant, I'm gonna reorder my old, my sushi dish from my sushi place that I always get from, and I'm hungry at that moment. If I'm using Uber Eats, it's because I probably want to discover something new. It's probably because I want to find something I never found before. So it's the difference between like if I were to Google something, or if I were to just like go browsing on Pinterest to see what I like.
So you won't say someone, like, hey, do you believe that people go on Seamless like, I'm hungry, but I want to see what's on Seamless instead of saying, hey, let's...
I do think people do that, but I don't think it's good. I don't think the experience is very good. I don't trust the reviews necessarily. I end up asking the guy sitting next to me anyway. But Uber Eats, they have enough of a brand that I could trust their judgment, and if they told me these 5 places are great, you should try this burger or this salad or whatever, I'd be like, all right, if you say so. And I think that they have a strong enough brand that they can get away with
It's
that.
free delivery, right?
And is it free delivery?
It's included in the whole price. I don't exactly know who pays, but basically they're cultivating what they think is hot and new, whereas Seamless will sign any restaurant up
Yeah.
that's willing to
Seamless is not
pay.
everybody.
You know, Seamless actually charges 14 to 17%, and the average margin for a restaurant is 20%, so they are very expensive. But Seamless will sign up anyone. Uber Eats is going out and cultivating things that they think are new and hip and whatever. Now it's limited because you have to take it as is. And Seamless you can do whatever you want. So it's very different.
Are you able to, on Uber Eats, can I say, hey, could you give me extra? Or,
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
There's
Uber Eats
some,
is more like they have an editor who's going through and putting this, like picking these places for you.
Yeah, it's like New York Mag or something like that.
Yeah.
so we're talking about a lot of marketing that works and influencer marketing, which is really up and coming. And I want to talk a little bit more about content marketing and SEO. But if I had to tell you two each, what are 2 terrible marketing decisions everybody here could make? Elon, if someone came to him and said ABC, you would be like, that's terrible. What would that be?
Someone who starts a blog without a plan. I think that there's these things that go around the internet. People like they read these things like, oh, I gotta start a blog. Really? Why? Like, what's your goal? Why? Is there a reason you're starting a blog? Like, you're just a certain kind of person you're trying to attract. How are you gonna get readers to the blog? Why are they gonna come read your blog? You know, your blog is probably gonna be pretty shitty. And so people do this a lot. They do this because they think they're supposed to, sort of thing. And don't do that. There's no reason why. Like we said, Uber partnered up with random companies to try to grow it. They didn't base it on a blog or anything like that. They did what worked. They checked the numbers and they saw what worked. So to me, that's like the biggest pet peeve of mine when I talk to a new client or I talk to someone I'm trying to give advice to. They're like, well, should I start a blog? If you have to ask,
And what would be your second pet peeve? Do you have one? Something on Fiverr?
People, something on Fiverr. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with Fiverr. Fiverr, if you use it correctly at the right times, you don't trust them with anything.
What about like 800 EDU links for $5? Not true. No, you don't have one thing where people come to you and you're like, that is a terrible idea. You can get back to you.
Yeah, Fiverr.
Okay, Menachem, go. What are 2 mistakes if someone came to you and said, this is what I want to do, and if it was legal to kill them,
So in my agency,
I don't know why you
one
would
of-
kill someone about their idea.
One of our strong focuses is search marketing and online shopping. So you'd be surprised how many accounts we get access to when we start managing where they just don't set up any tracking whatsoever. And they're just kind of
Wow.
spending money and they have no idea what's happening from it. So that's
So that's
kind of
one.
like my pet peeve is just set it up so you know where your money's going and what
No,
you're
but I
seeing
was more
from it.
saying marketing idea, like where someone comes to you and say like, this is what I think is gonna work. If not, we can come back Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it comes back to just poor strategy,
Poor strategy.
like setting up the campaigns without thinking who their customer is and what they're looking to get from it and what their goals are. A lot of that ties back into it.
I don't think there's any one marketing idea that's bad. I think it's execution that's
Right.
bad.
Yes.
It's like, so I had a buddy of mine calls me up. He's been running a.
Wait, hold on, let's just
Yeah.
Jonathan thing.
Sure.
Right? I can listen to you talk all day, I swear. I do. I tap his
Are we
phone.
staying here all night?
We are, go, Jonathan. Go.
Two. One, shotgun marketing. You know, back in the day, it was billboards and advertisements on telephone, booths. Now it's kind of paid Facebook, right? There's too much content we're all getting every day. That shotgun untargeted marketing does nothing, okay? It's been proven it's a waste, and it's just a waste of your money and your time. Second is, don't have an ego. Like, I hate to keep on bringing Uber, but they didn't have an ego, right? They said, you want to partner with us? You want to put literally their requirements were, our name must be on the invite. Our name must be on the step and repeat. Our name, literally it fit their brand, and they could drive people to and from. They did it. And look where they are now. They didn't have an ego. I have some clients who are like, I'm not doing that
That's
deal.
not on brand.
That's not a brand. Or they need
Wait,
to pay me.
I don't want to interrupt. Jonathan has purchased some of the hotels that you guys wished you stayed in, that I wish I stayed in. He's not talking about like the hot dog stand that doesn't let me buy anymore.
Those make good money.
Well, no, okay, you guys want to hear a random fact? Guess how much, those random hot dog shish kebab stands cost?
$289,000 for that guy.
A year, from $200,000 to $500,000 a year, they have to pay rent
Yeah,
for that small
And that's for
spot.
the spots.
Who said it?
yeah.
Why?
There was a random fact on Reddit. It was like 298.
Yeah, that's what it was today I learned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is it today I learned?
It was today I learned on Reddit.
Wait, you don't let me read the same things you read?
And wait, let's go farther. Where is the most profitable hot dog cart
Central
in the
Park.
entire city?
Central Park.
I would say right across the street from Penn Station.
Nope.
Square?
No.
Nope. In front of the MoMA.
Really?
Really? Wow.
Ah.
That hot dog stand is the most profitable hot dog stand in the city.
Really? So these hot dog stands, these shish kebab, they're spending $200,000 to $500K a year to be in that little spot.
So they have to make overhead.
So that's why I'm coming to Jonathan. How much could they possibly make?
A hot dog vendor? A few $100,000 a year.
So then it means they have to make over 200 in some of those
Oh yeah,
spots.
absolutely. You'd be surprised how much $3 and $3 and $3 and $3 and $3 add up. And by the way, except for that permit, their cost is little to nothing. They rent the carts.
Yeah, they keep the hot dogs in their basement.
Hot dogs. So actually, there's one company in the city called what are they called? One something. They're the largest distributor of vending cart.
Yeah, there's
food.
actually two. There's like an Indian
There's a
and
few of them,
Italian
but they
family.
literally drop off
Like head to
everything.
head with that.
And they
It's
buy it in
hilarious.
bulk, that the cost is nothing. So the markup on a hot dog, they probably pay, I would guess, 15 cents for that hot dog. That they're selling for $3.
Wait, and Jonathan, are most of the people that are purchasing people that live in New York, or are they tourists?
Mostly tourists.
Mostly tourists.
Yeah.
Well, New York's known for good hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know for good hot dogs, and they better make that money.
All boiled. That's how the, also the dollar pizza also. They
Okay.
kill it.
They make $150 grand average each.
Hey, as someone who's not from New York, I've never gone into a place where they don't accept a debit card. Why is there always a $10 minimum? My thought is that they put the minimum so that people will buy over the minimum.
So
Is
no,
that real?
that might be part of it, but also credit card companies have like a minimum fee plus a percentage, so it might be like 75 cents plus 2% on them. So they want you to hit a certain number so that it drops below a certain.
Jonathan, is that illegal?
That is illegal.
Yeah.
So you can actually tell them it's illegal, and they have to charge it.
Yeah.
Basically, the credit card processing fees are about 2.3% on average. So little bodegas that have very low margins, that could be their margin on that sale, honestly. So they don't want to lose that margin to the credit card processing company, but it's totally illegal.
They'll
So
take
you can tell them
it.
to go
They'll
shop.
take it.
Yeah, if you say like, okay, so let's wait till the 311 or call Jonathan. I'm gonna give Jonathan's number out. If you ever get into this problem, no, but it is illegal. But at the same, I never even knew this. But to Jonathan's point, their percentage is the 2 to 3%, and it's very unfortunate.
I've offered to like pay an extra $1 or something, and they always say no.
But that's actually what
Yeah.
they want. They want you to then, when you're drunk or when you're desperate, to buy $10 worth of
Yeah.
Give me those 6 muffins over there.
And they don't use Malusi's. Who here has been on the website? You're browsing your website, and if you know what this is, don't say it, because I'm trying to understand the crowd. You go to a website, let's say you go to Budweiser.com, you switch to Huffington Post, and instantly you see an advertisement of Budweiser. Who here has seen that? Like you see like, wow, these guys following me? Raise your hand if you know what that's called. You know what it's called?
It's called retargeting.
Yeah. Everyone knows what it's called, retargeting? Now, Elon and Menachem are going to break down the importance of what you guys see. Some of you guys don't know. It's like, you know how many times I go, people are like, what a coincidence. I was just on their website. And now I'm on TechCrunch. And
There's no coincidence.
By the way, I really think Amazon is stalking me because that happens all the time, and I know nothing about this.
You have no idea.
Amazon's the creepiest of the
I once visited a website, I swear to God, they called me. I promise they called me. They had Marketo, and they had my demographic info, and they had my actual personal info, and they called me.
GoDaddy just did that to me today.
You
So
can-
sometimes if you take your mouse and you're scrolling towards the X, that will signal that you're leaving the site, and they'll automatically send an email to you. You want to hear? Who wants to hear? Well, let's hear. Raise your hand if you want to hear how crazy tracking could be.
Well, David.
That's it. No one cares.
David,
We hear you share.
David, these guys basically built a system like that.
We do that kind of stuff.
Do you want to sit?
What's my last name? That's right. That's right. Tracking with websites is so in depth. What you can do with a computer, if you have enough technology, you could turn on someone's webcam while they're browsing your website. It's 100% illegal. But I've seen it happen. The tracking in
He's done
depth.
it.
Seen it happen.
Sure. Cam 4. Whoever laughed, please leave. So, Elon, describe how intense tracking could be. I go to a website, let's say I go to Nestle.com. And they want to go.
It depends. I mean, you guys hear about like big data, right? You guys hear like the word big data thrown around. Well, one of the things big data can do is they can aggregate who you are by your affinities, your shopping patterns. So Google, for example, knows they know what you like, they know what you shop for, they know what you visit because you're logged in all the time.
Has any of this information ever got leaked?
I believe so, but not from Google.
Yeah. Who's that guy that read it?
Google, this Google data got leaked?
Well,
Somebody's
so-
full profile got leaked.
Oh boy.
So not only that, but they actually released it in 2000, I think it was either Google or Yahoo. In about 2004, 2005, they released a whole bunch of search terms for educational purposes, and somebody tracked it, and it was anonymously put together or whatever.
They attached the.
And they put together things, and they were like, "Oh, you're an elderly lady who's recently single, and you have a cat." They targeted down to this one lady who was in like Wisconsin or something, and
They had to like get a detective.
That was, because of that. That was the reason because of DuckDuckGo.
what? Sorry, say?
DuckDuckGo.
Oh,
The private
secure,
browser.
yeah, private.
That was the reason.
That was
that if you guys are not familiar with DuckDuckGo.com, you search them on Google. You search them on Google. If you search through their search engine, they don't really do any of the tracking that we're about to discuss. But between marketers, we never really discussed it to the open. I'm good friends with Sam. He told me I should tell all. And
Yeah,
a
so
lot
like,
of friends
if
of
you
mine.
use Crazy Egg or something like that, you can track heat maps.
Yeah.
You can
Or
track what people are
mouse
clicking.
flow.
I forget the name of the technology.
I'll give you an example. So for me, one of my websites, we set up mouse
People
flow.
copy and
The second somebody comes to our website, I can see where they're coming from, their IP. So I can see which location they're coming from, which house, and exactly what they're doing. I can see them typing in their name, their address. I can check what other websites they're on, how long, what they're interested in, whatnot. If you aggregate, from my new perspective, it's extremely creepy. But from overall, it really helps us understand the mind of the user. Back in the day, when you had a Coca-Cola, when you were advertising Coca-Cola, you put a billboard at Times Square. You put a advertisement on the subway. You would sponsor a Yankees game. Somebody bought a Coke, you have no idea where it came from. And you have no idea where they bought it. Now, with Menachem, Elon's, and for sure Jonathan's data, you like, the guy bought the coat because he saw your ad, he clicked it, then he saw a YouTube commercial with your ad, and he went back and he bought it. So describe, we want to start with Menachem.
So, like Google, for example, one of the largest advertising agencies, but they have the ability to track in a lot of different ways. Like you said, if somebody searches for Coca-Cola, they come to your site, now they leave. To touch on what he said before, that's called remarketing by Google, the industry name is retargeting. You're able to basically know that this person came to your site, and as they browse the web, Google has millions of websites in their network, and they'll start displaying ads to that user, and they know that this person looked at this specific product, so they'll start showing that product as well as similar products. And the reason why that's helpful is because most people who come to a website leave without purchasing, so you can bring somebody back who's already familiar with your brand. And so that's remarketing.
Offer discounts.
Right, and you can offer discounts, you can offer different promotions to bring them back. And that's like one way that they track. They do track a ton of different information, like you mentioned, in market segments. They know what you're searching for, what other products you're looking for. They have a lot of demographic information because everybody has a Google account. I think they said they have over 1 billion accounts right now. They're able to track if you search for something on your phone and then you go to your computer later or your tablet later and you finish making a purchase, they know that you switched devices, they know you're the same person, and they provide a lot of that information to advertisers to really help you target, and you can follow that full path. You know exactly how many times the person came to your site, where they came from.
Could you
see
tell
how
if
your
they're
dollars are
girl
working.
or guy,
Yeah.
how old they are?
They have that for a lot of their user base.
Not to interrupt, but there's an adage in digital marketing that says that if you don't have to pay for a website, you're not the customer, you're the product, right? They're selling you. And so like Facebook, I think, is even creepier. Like, Facebook is so creepy.
If you guys knew, and I've been in
Like,
Facebook's office, in their data
It's
center.
insane what they've got going on. They don't even show the marketers what's going on, but they have a thing that I really love to use. I've been using a lot in the past 6 months called Lookalike Audiences. Anyone ever heard of Lookalike Audiences? Somebody buys something
No.
from you or buys
He
something from
doesn't
your
know
website.
something?
Do you know what Lookalike Audiences are?
She raised her hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you knew something more.
Somebody converts, they buy, or they do the action you want them to do, whatever it is. For me, it's often downloading an app these days, so I have a lot of mobile app
Let's
clients.
say I buy his shirt.
Right? They are going to know that I'm going to set a lookalike audience, and I'm going to tell Facebook every time somebody buys from me, I want people who are like that guy to buy too, right? Not his friends, not his people who are just like him. Think about that. Think about what that means.
People who are similar to
Yeah, so that means people who can't get into clubs, who drink too much beer and host events, will be like targeted in that sense. Like they're gonna, like for example with me, I don't say anywhere on my Facebook profile that I'm Jewish, but they know I am. They know I am because they know my friends. They know what groups I like. They know what stuff. They know what holidays I post on and don't post on. They know what websites I post from. So they infer that I am Jewish, and I get J-date ads. And I don't say I'm Jewish on Facebook. That's how creepy this stuff can get.
And to try it out as an experiment, what you can do is go like something that you don't like and watch all of a sudden how you
Yeah,
start
that's
seeing
fun,
ads
yeah.
for that kind of
But
stuff.
what if you use incognito?
Incognito should protect you as a protector.
I know.
Because of the IP address?
What would you use?
Yeah, if you really, really wanted to protect yourself, you'd have to literally just use Tor. You'd have to use like
Or you could go to
dark
hide,
web.
or
and
you
stuff
could
like
do hide my ass.
that. You could do hide my ass. Even that's not guaranteed. Hide
I
my
will
ass,
show you.
It's really
You want
cool.
to do shady stuff on the internet? Not too shady, but you go to hidemyass.com. It gives you like a
What's the?
virtual-
There's a plugin you can put into your Chrome that'll tell you what's tracking you.
Ghostery.
I think it's a
Ghostery,
Ghostery. Yeah. So it's a plugin you put on your Chrome, and as you browse the web, you can actually see it'll
You
start
guys should write
flickering.
this down.
It's going to start flickering about which tools are following you. And some websites, if you go to certain websites, there's like 8. They have heat tracking on you. They have heat mapping on you. They know they have Marketo, which scores you on a lead basis about based on who you are. I had a client once called Market Realist, who they're an investment like news website for like investors. They knew who you were. They knew your name. Like, they knew who you actually were. We had one client called Bottega Veneta. You guys know Bottega Veneta, the high-end like women's apparel industry, like purses, like $10,000 purses. They don't sell this stuff online. They can't, right? We would run ads on Vogue or whatever, but you couldn't sell it. They'd sell it at the store. So how do we connect this? What we did was we had the system
Wait, hang
email.
on. Let's
Yeah.
say they go to Ghostery and they see that things are tracking them.
Yeah.
They don't feel comfortable, but they still like to browse or shop on that site. what would you recommend they do?
So you can use GoTree to actually block all those scripts from running. So first of all, the pages will load much faster.
We shouldn't tell people that.
Doesn't it
If
just
anybody shares this,
We're just only recording it and throwing it on.
Yeah. The other option is go to any hospitality site, because hospitality companies are so far behind what these guys are talking about. You're actually lucky if they're tracking how many unique visitors show up. Honestly.
The one group, which is his client, was our client first, and they did not have any idea what was
They
going on.
have the worst website ever. They track nothing. You're lucky if they actually get the, fill in contact here form. It probably goes to an email address of someone that was fired or left the company.
what's going on? It's going the wrong way.
So it's sad, but there's huge opportunity in the hospitality space to get close to the retailers that know so much more about you. We in the hospitality space, we know nothing about you. We don't know what websites you're on. By the way, you make a dinner reservation on OpenTable, we know you made a reservation. We don't even know what you spent because that's in the POS and they don't talk to each other.
Done.
So the minute you walk in the restaurant, we know, oh, John walked in with 4 guys. But we don't know if you spent $100 or $4,000 because the POS doesn't talk to the OpenTable, which doesn't talk to the website, which doesn't talk to anything.
I thought OpenTable, that's how they know, that's how they get the money from the companies, because
Not
they
subscription.
pay, subscription.
OpenTable charges 2 ways: one subscription and one per reservation. It's $1 per reservation.
I thought it was like.
They have no way of
percentage
knowing
bill.
how this. They have no way of knowing if you even shut up.
OpenTable is the most unopened system ever. I mean, I don't know what the technical term is, but literally,
I think it's closed.
yeah, close. So, literally, the database
Yeah.
that goes in of customers,
Yeah.
you don't own. So if you want to get that database out, you have to manually type it. So many of these restaurant companies have interns or low-paying jobs that sit at OpenTable all day and type it into their CRM. Because OpenTable won't let you dump to a CRM, even a Excel file. So
And
again,
people need reserve.
yeah, again, if you want to be incognito, any hospitality site.
so
So basically
I-
saying that someone should build a new open table.
They are.
We're working on it.
you're actually looking at the human being who's doing that.
Well, not me personally, but Reserve, which is a on-demand concierge system, kind of like Uber for table reservations, actually funded by the guy who funded Uber and Foursquare. Right now it's reservations only. They acquired a company to build a table management system, and the goal is to go after OpenTable. They are not the only company going after OpenTable. There are a lot. The biggest problem is OpenTable is one of the largest marketers to users. So restaurateurs hate OpenTable, but they stay with it because the marketing is worth it. The amount of money that OpenTable makes off restaurants is ridiculous. There's a monthly subscription fee, there's hardware updates, and it's $1 per reservation. That's actually expensive. And if you do those, like, you get extra point deals, have you ever seen those on OpenTable? Like if you dine between whatever, they charge the restaurant $7 for that. So it is crazy.
I know a guy building something called like Bellhop, and they actually have already 2 hotels under it. But the system can basically be exactly the same thing if they try to put you in touch with it.
Yeah, there are a lot. You'd be surprised how many. I'm sitting on a panel tomorrow on technology just in hospitality. Again, we are so far behind because of, the old school restaurateur that had the cash register that rang up and just didn't adopt. And they're so behind. There's so many companies trying to get in there on marketing and operations. There's a lot of money being thrown.
I mean, Jonathan and
Yeah.
Ilan, I'm sure you guys have always seen this, like this rumor. I don't know if you believe it's true. You're shopping for a Priceline ticket, and then you leave the site. You come back.
That's a myth. I think that was a
It was
misnomer.
a
That was
big myth.
debunked, but I would not put it past whoever was in charge of marketing at Priceline or whatever to do that. So
Do you want to break it down what it was? Because
the idea was that the myth was that if you kept going back and checking an airline ticket multiple times, it would start just getting more and more expensive on you, which could actually be true. But another myth I heard was that if you went from an Apple computer, they thought you had more money, so they would charge you more
No,
money.
that's not a myth. In fact, a lot of companies.
I think that was debunked.
Yeah, that was.
No, a lot of companies are actually still doing it now.
They are. They are.
It's
They are
a-
definitely doing
It's a
that.
big thing, which is why you should always, if you don't.
Wait, let's hear it different than me.
I'm gonna say 10-minute mark, everybody, just to give you a time.
Tell me to what, to Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your,
So it's definitely true that, I mean, I don't know about the Mac thing, if that's true.
I think that was definitely what was true was the price going up every time you went back.
Right, but
That's
it's,
for sure.
I mean, it's demographic, just like, you know, with the big
did you
data
believe in the
and.
Mac switch?
I don't think that was true, and I don't know if it was. I don't know if
Max, it's just based on tile location.
that one. I'm talking. There was a myth that specifically, if you went from an Apple computer, they assumed you had more money.
But it's definitely location based. I mean, pricing is definitely different based on.
Menachem, what's your
location.
thoughts on this?
So I think that as far as device changing, I think there are individual sites that do that, but I don't know how common it is. But as far as like
It's kind of.
targeting by location, that definitely is something that's done, and a lot of these tools also have the ability, they break out demographic information and find like by affluency levels and, you know, target accordingly.
I don't know if it happens, but I can tell you this, buy a McDonald's meal in New York, start driving south, and when you get to North Carolina and South Carolina, look how much lower the prices are for the exact same thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing's happening online. I don't know, but I know in the restaurant business, these chains, they price completely different based on the income that is around that area.
Also, isn't it has to do with like the supply of food too? Is
No.
no?
No, by the way, McDonald's is the largest buyer of lettuce in the entire country.
Okay. We're gonna talk about one more topic, then we're gonna start Q&A, and we'll take it from there. Everyone can enjoy some beer if there's any. So, online versus offline marketing. I'm a huge believer of Subway ads. I feel like that's a huge prime real estate. You have this. You watch YouTube ad, it's like 3 seconds before you get to skip it. A Subway ad, you could be on the subway for 15 minutes just looking at it. And
Like the whole.
no, these guys, and you know, it's funny because Handy, is that familiar with Handy? Literally, the only reason why I signed up for them.
Because they have
I didn't
just
even-
$5 for a handy, I bet.
Yeah.
They do it's a real thing.
I thought it was something else. I was very,
Well, that's why you signed up.
yeah.
That's an actual ad that they
My family and I were very upset that they came. No. So, like, Menachem and Jonathan, what's your take on Subway ads? I feel like they carry so much weight, it's unbelievable.
I mean, I can only talk for my industry, hospitality, except for maybe a Priceline ad, you'll never see a hospitality ad on the subway. It just doesn't engage. You don't want to be thinking about food or a luxury hotel while you're waiting on a New York City subway platform.
But what about if the subway's going to that location?
I've never seen it, we've never done it.
You guys never done
No.
it?
I mean, it depends where you are. Like in Midtown Manhattan, I mean, it will work perfectly.
I think because the subways, you don't know exactly where they're going, right? You don't know where the car is going. It works better for a company like Handy or for a company, something that's all over New York City, right?
Like the new bed company.
What's that? The new bed company.
Casper.
all over.
Oh my
the place.
God.
Yeah, so that works, right? Everyone in Manhattan
And
needs a
they're
bed.
killing it.
I bought one. They got me. It was amazing. Their marketing was just so on
Their
point.
marketing is so strong.
How do you stick it back in the box?
You don't. They just come and take it.
They
away.
come pick it up.
Because I want to buy one just so I can open it and be like, I don't like it.
I feel like we just give it a charity.
But the thing
yeah.
is, they want you to do that. That's the whole thing.
For the
They
people
want you
here-
just to try it.
For the
That's
people
whole-
here that don't know
it's the same
Casper,
marketing strategy at the
they
shoe
deliver
company
an
does.
awesome mattress. If you don't like it within 100 days, you don't have to return it. They send someone to pick it up for you and they donate it to charity.
But wait, it also comes in a box.
It comes in a crazy
So does
box.
Dr. Needle.
It comes in like this small little box and you never believe a mattress could fit it.
When it's a foam thing, it's a whole, yeah. But their marketing is so on
And
point.
if you want to see one company's marketing strategy out the roof, you know, it's funny, I called them because I actually want to order one too, I'm guilty. And they weren't there, but they're like, if you want to hear a bedtime story, press 1.
They are so
That's true.
good. It's amazing.
I was on the phone for 6 hours. No, it was great.
They also gave me Yelp review saying they did not put me to sleep.
Yeah, they're investor.
But I ordered 3 mattresses.
It's a kid from Long Island.
Really? Okay, so what do you, let's end off with this. So, offline marketing, we're talking about, there's a lot of these things that can't be tracked. There's a lot of ways to also track Subway ads. So,
I think the ones you see, like Grubhub advertises on subways, right? Things that are more global or all over Manhattan rather than a specific SDK. SDK would never market just on a subway because we can't target the SDK customer. Grubhub, who actually has a similar marketing campaign to Casper, very like friendly. If you notice, it's like catchy, it's like playful. That's their whole kind of thing. They want to be playful. They want to be like, we'll give you free spoons or whatever. They advertise on the subway because you're on your way home and you're like, oh my god, I get out of the subway, I'm going to order Grubhub or Seamless. That makes sense. But specifically to restaurants, we normally do it either direct influencers or online, or actually, I hate to say it, we mail ship.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Because nowadays people get so little mail that if they get a nice invitation to an opening of a restaurant,
Well, what do you do when you launch a hotel? What's like your ABC, unless it's your secret sauce?
there are a lot of things. I mean, that could be a whole hour.
That's good. Unless you guys go into the whole hour, you talk about opening of a hotel. Until then, who would like to ask any
I have a
questions?
question. So as a web developer, as a thing, one of the number one questions I get from anybody trying to start a business, how would someone market their MML based on what's legal and not illegal?
MLM.
MML.
Pyramids.
It's almost like a pyramid scheme. It's like a marketing. It's like basically getting like a referral program, but you are paying the people to bring people, like Uber does a little bit. But they actually give you like a coupon, but like where you, like let's say you sign him up and everybody gets like $5 back.
So I'm at multi-level marketing.
No, most of the marketing thing.
Are you asking me how they marketed to
No, I mean like, how do you go about it? Like I don't touch it. Like I think it's if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I know like a lot of companies are starting. There's a big jump now going back into it now. Like I know it's after the past 5 years it died down. Now there's a big boost of people waking up and saying, hey, no, this is the actual way to go again. Or how they're marketing their
There's
product.
like, I think there's a study that came out, like 95% of all people involved in multi-level make an average of like 6K a year.
I think it was
Yeah, those are
Do you
people
think it was
that,
much lower?
yeah,
Like what?
Negative.
a couple $100 at best. I don't. I mean,
These are
MLM
people
works on a
that don't
certain
really-
demographic, right? It works on a certain type of person. A lot of these kinds of products that we sell work on a certain kind of person. It's, frankly, people who fall for MLM are usually kind of dumb. So, but that's different from an affiliate program, and that's
Or
different
refer a
from a referral friend kind of thing. So, an affiliate program I've done before. So, like that's different. That's you recruiting other internet marketers who already have traffic, and people who are capable of sending you traffic. And then what you can do is you can sign up for JD Zoo or Affiliate Junction or one of these places. Commission Junction. I'm sorry.
Affiliate junction.
Affiliate Junction. So Commission Junction, one of these places, and you can recruit affiliates. Also, there's the referral friend program. What I have found is that when you pay people cash outright, they won't do it because it's kind of embarrassing to say to a friend, "Hey, sign up because I get $5." But if you do like Uber did, where you get something for free, you get the product. The value is the product. You put the value and you say, "Hey, sign up, I get a free ride." That's a lot more socially acceptable to do, and people feel a lot better about doing it. And so what I found is that when you move away from a cash bonus to like giving away the product for free, you get a lot higher interaction there.
Wait, so what, and the number I gave you was full-time people that do.
Oh, really?
It was like an average of $6,000 a year.
Yeah, well, almost as good as a doorman in NYC, right?
Wait, so what, his question was, what would you recommend to someone that wants to start a multi-level marketing?
I honestly didn't even answer that question. Maybe you can answer it.
But I agree with him.
I don't know.
Okay, any other, Reddit, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite sub?
My favorite subreddit?
Yeah. You say Gone Wild, dude.
No, it's today I learned mostly. Just, I don't know, let me look. Give me 2 minutes, I'll
Jennifer had a question.
Go, Jennifer.
So this is for the panel. I'm just wondering, it sounds like you guys have a lot of B2C clients.
There's some BBs too.
You have B2B. Okay, so with influencer marketing with B2B, what kind of incentive do you recommend or do you offer?
For B2B to the influencer,
Mhm.
probably just a commission on the sale. So the B2B sales are usually pretty big. You can't really track them. It's funny, I actually remember, I'll email me later, I'll give it to you. There's a guy who came to us and wanted some services, and he actually built a referral tracking program for B2B. So like, someone would refer you a client and they would go through this long sales process, and at the end it would pay the person who referred it over, which doesn't exist. And that guy built it, and we were gonna do a B2B campaign for him. And we were gonna do So you can do a lot of things. You can track by clicks and stuff like that. But for B2B, it's usually just commission to the deal. Is that what you do?
Yeah.
No, the overall question, she has a B2B product. She wants to know like the whole,
What is the B2B product?
So this is a company that I'm intern with, and they have an ad retargeting for B2B product that's personalization, ad retargeting.
They offer that as the product. The product
That's the
is the personalization and retargeting. So is it something that I can go and sign up, put in a credit card, and get on the it's an SAS platform?
Yeah.
So that you can just do an affiliate commission there, right? You can just do a straight affiliate commission because now you're tracking the credit card sale. When you say B2B, sometimes I think in my head like, oh, there's a sales guy involved.
Yeah,
and
well, yeah,
they
there's-
sign it but this is like you're taking a credit card, so you could have like a tracking cookie on the person. So yeah, you could pretty easily probably do a really good affiliate program there. Then what I would do is I would do a blogger outreach effort and then tell the bloggers to write about you because there's an affiliate commission.
Elon,
Right?
emailing 1 or 2 bloggers, that's, how do you mass email?
That's a trade secret. I gotta
What?
that one's mine.
So
we have
if she-
proprietary methods for
If she
sharing.
contacted you privately,
We could talk.
okay, but you do have a secret that can,
I have a way, I use scraper software, we pull thousands of bloggers who've talked about a certain subject, we pull their email addresses, and then we have a way of mass mailing them without getting spam box. It took us a long time to figure it out. And
so you're not gonna give them.
that one's I'm not gonna give.
Okay,
That
so
one's
if you come to them privately, that product sounds amazing, because manually doing it, that's like 3 jobs and a half. Anyone have any questions about going to hotels, gelling hair, or internet marketing?
I really could have used your gel tonight.
Just kidding.
Told me about this
Hey, you
stuff.
guys, we have paid search. Anyone have any questions about it? How about this? What type of industry are you in?
Sorry?
What type of industry are you in?
Textile.
What are you struggling with?
Like, how to say?
Is that your friend right next to you?
No.
What are you struggling with?
What are you having a hard time with?
We find the customers.
Finding the customers.
Because we don't use website. It's only communicate, only personal sales. So our times find the customers.
We need a lead generation.
Okay, sounds good. Any more questions? We're gonna wrap it up.
Do you guys do consulting on the side? And
I think
All of us are
we all do
consultants, yeah.
consulting.
We're all
like, well, you guys are in massive projects, but like, do you guys do?
No, like we run companies that do consulting professionally.
I think we all run.
Where are your
consulting
cards? You all have your cards.
So I think, when we talk about these big projects like opening up STK, my role there was to raise the capital. I don't actually run the restaurant or cook the food or do all that. So my role was to raise the capital and the investors. So I think all of us are an integral part in these larger projects. So we are consultants. And it's not like we're doing the whole thing. When David says we're buying a hotel, I'm not running that hotel, neither is my company. We're bringing the investors, analyzing it, and we'll rebrand that hotel, but we have a third party that will actually operate it.
So
So
we're all consultants in a larger,
Yeah.
like, if you knew what Elon actually does day to day, you guys will want to hug him, trust me.
I'll tell you.
Because I'll give you a hint, it may be Uber. Okay, guys. No more
Yeah,
questions?
we'll leave our contact
you.